So remember, these are her parameters. The payments will remain the same or less. We can always do or better, you know.
Or better.
For her benefit.
More car for
More
less
car
money.
for less money.
And
new car.
A new car. And I said, by the way, and somebody said, do you really want to make the payments? I said, you're right. I don't need the payments. So how about we'll just go ahead and pay it off in the end of the year. So, and as I left, I walked in the office of the fitness director. Just walked, I don't know why we started talking about cars. I said, I'm going to the dealership. He said, oh, I know someone from the dealership. I know the actual general manager. I said, oh, okay. Well, he said, if you want to, I'll call them. So he calls the general manager. I go in, and they just start telling me, oh, please do this, do that. And I looked and I said, yeah, your payments, and you don't want to sell the car. If you want to sell the car, then you have to adjust accordingly. So I don't need a car. I told them at the dealership, I said, I don't need a car. If you want to sell me the car, then let's make those numbers very pretty. So I go outside, standing outside, looking at the car and thinking, did I cancel what I was creating? Because I'm ready to leave the dealership. Or I'm going through with it. So I'm standing and keep looking at the car. The guy runs outside. I said, by the way, I'm just wondering, what would it take for you to stay and not go? I'm like, well, let me think about it. So I gave the parameters. So he comes back in 5 minutes. He said, oh, what's great, look, I got it. Well, let's come back. I said, okay, I know the story. I said, let's go back. So to make the story short, so I left that day with a new vehicle. So the payments really, I let them to come up a little high because I ended up buying the warranty. I said, it's transferable, I can sell it, whatever. So I added maybe another $30. Consider that I'm getting $10,000 more of a car. So anyway, so after that, my next thing was, okay, how about this car needs to be paid in full now? So, and as I was keep writing and keep believing, and so the car is paid in full. All of it. For the first time ever. Wow, well, that's a miracle.
And the miracle is it was paid in full as a gift from somebody to her.
Is
that right?
From the group? Totally.
No.
Someone just said, I'm going to pay off
every
your
bit of
car.
her clients just said, I'd like to give you a gift.
Oh, wow.
So for us it was just funny because we had this meeting like on Wednesday, and it was like at the weekend when the book party was, and both ladies came with a new car.
Cars, all the ladies come out with their car, and I'm standing outside my house in one car and another car. And I'm like, we just had the meeting on Tuesday. This was Sunday, and everybody comes with their new car. And the other lady is she had a lot of askings because she had been a week before and they wouldn't give her a new car because she had overdriven the miles and she wanted a lesser payment and she wanted a brand new Mercedes, and she got all her askings too. So
what we did with her was basically this exercise, what's also going around now, this paper. Maybe it's like at Irina's place.
Oh, he said,
right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh.
So this is when you have a big asking. We want to make sure that you really get clear, and she even added it'll be paid off in a year, right? Mm-hmm. And it was free to her she was talking about, so she used these words, and she put in this asking.
Well,
So
I have to say, it didn't just okay, a few other things I need to add there. So it didn't just happen because I wrote it on a piece of paper.
right, you believed.
Well, and not just that, I actually one day I told God, I said, all right, I know you love me, but I want you to show me that you love me. I want to feel it, and I want to experience every bit of it. That with those words, I let it go.
Right.
And that was it. And then with something else, I've had this church by phone. One of the ministers would call, and periodically I listen. I spent like 10 minutes or 15 minutes listening, and he was speaking some words, said, I feel this presence anointed towards ask and receive, or whatever it was at the time. So it just feels just right. I said, okay. So I kind of knew about the minister anyway. So I said, all right, I'll plant the seed. So everything started just all of a sudden it's like opened up and just start rolling, like a river. That river, which for 15 years I was believing for that river, speaking the river, but this is the first time I ever experienced that river.
Yeah, yeah. And it was more than just
Abundance.
right. Yes, and she created again with another situation beyond her car. So I know that the ones that have been with us for a long time know that Skyder did the same thing 2 years ago with her massage degree, where she said that when she'd be done with school, it would be paid for in full, and it was. So, and it was outside of her, it wasn't her paying for it. It was allowing universe to help and do its magic. So the fun is that when we all create these things, the more detailed we get, the more our asking power and our excitement goes further. So let's do the first page first, which is the page that has all the askings on it, and let's fill that out together. So let's take today for a great example, or you can do this for tomorrow. The idea is I am grateful for.
Can I have another blank one?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Thank you.
What do you want?
I want to keep one.
Yeah, here it is.
No,
That one? Okay. All right. So everybody quickly, and again, as fast as it comes, and it can be the air you breathe, it can be the table you're sitting at. Be grateful for 5 things. Yes, you can. You can have that pen. That's a receive joy pen. See? So you can receive some joy. Okay. So the gratitude messages for anything. Here, you can write in that book too. Sure.
And again, because we don't want to have all these papers flowing around, we made it for 90 days, and in the bag is like all the 30 pages of declaration.
Right. So
But you have it all in one book.
Skyder, if you have your book here, you can just do it in your book.
I mean, that's why I said only this.
Yeah, if you
I mean,
need.
we
but you
do it
don't have
every
to.
day in our books. So.
Okay, so everybody quickly write down 5 things, and it can be the person sitting next to you, it can be your family, it can be God, it can be the stars and the moon. All right. So the idea is that we build the muscle. The second box is I ask with intention for. And so what are you asking for every day? These are your long-term askings. So like her car would have been here. It's not what she's doing today necessarily, but it was a long-term asking. So any long-term or bigger askings that you're just going to write down once and put off to the universe at this point, write it down once and let it go out to the universe. So like Sylvie's E2 visa would go in that box because it was a long-term asking. She had to get back to Germany first, and she had to get the paperwork and all that to receive
And
that.
you know, once you stated it, God knows, and everything is set into motion. So every day you can come up with more and more and more. Or you can restate if it makes your belief system even more strong.
Question. I have
Yes.
fun and celebrate this day. Why? I always.
No.
What?
I mean, just write anything like
Honey,
the Miraclegroup.
take
I'm
a
happy
tea.
for that today because I
Take a
can
bath.
do that right now. Love, happiness,
We have to
writing,
work on your fun.
family, stars,
Work on
moon.
my
So over the
fun.
summer
Yeah.
we do
air,
fun
I mean,
mission.
water.
that's what
The
it is,
idea
fun?
is that
Oh,
you're
that's
just.
right.
Remember the game
I'm
of
happy
fun?
that I have a chair. You know,
Remember
so when
the
have I
game
been
of
thankful
fun?
for a chair before lately?
Whatever you put
And so I'm
into the
happy
boxes
for
of the
friends.
game
I'm
of
happy
fun.
for
Well, I didn't do
friends
well on
with
the game of
interests,
fun. I
that we have
didn't do
common
much fun.
interests.
on
I
that
love
one.
common interests.
Work and study.
How fun this is.
That's all I know.
Seminar, like another seminar.
Okay, so again, asking for intention for could be a great summer, everybody. You can ask intention for a stock price. You can ask with intention for a retirement account with, that will support your family. My children are going to Orlando, so right now they're in Disney. I'm asking for the best vacation ever. Tomorrow, I'm flying away, so I'm going to have a wonderful, awesome flight that's
So remember,
on
whatever
time
we're
and
doing,
inspirational.
even if we talk about abundance, it's a physical manifestation of something, objects you want to have, but also, and even more, of the feelings you like to have, of the states you want to have, of the emotions. So put like, I wish to feel happy while I'm doing my laundry, or like whatever asking there is. So go beyond the car into like whatever there is you wish to notch up a little, change.
Okay. So then we'll go for a minute over to the right side of the page, and it says, what may I do differently to allow more happiness and peace in my life? That is a simple one thing today. So you could say, park my car closer. It could be something as simple as organize my shelf. Okay, so anything you could do, anything that you could do. So I wrote, plan ahead, write everything down. Okay, every day it's different. I'll read you a few of mine. Script my life was there. This is compartmentalize some stuff. That was one day. Focus and complete my tasks. That was something I could do. Call friends and visit with friends more. That was something I could do. That would make my life better. Spend time outside. That was one of my days. Spend time with myself. That was one of my askings. And playing with all that is here now.
You choose one.
Yeah, these are different days. I'm just reading some days and some simple things. So
you can have 3 or 4.
You can. The idea is anything quick, and the idea is this: when the universe knows you are serious, guess what it's going to become? Very serious back to you. And when I say serious, I mean seriously delivering. So this serious delivering happens when you know that that person is going to be knocking consistently, constantly, every single day of their life, with joy, with happiness. So I'm a parent, right? And if you have a kid that always wakes up at let's say 6 a.m., you kind of expect that tomorrow they're going to wake up at 6 a.m. again because they've done it for a year or whatever. And it becomes an expectation. So the universe gets set to your biorhythms. Yes. And if your biorhythm is one of continual asking, their biorhythm will match you with continual giving. And so this is a biorhythm setter. That's why I said whoever wants to take the challenge in a fun way for 30 days. All right, so I have fun and celebrate this day by, I wrote down our miracle meeting. That's how I'm celebrating this day. So this is the most exciting part of my day.
Okay, all right.
So I wrote down our Miraclegroup meeting. All right, and then the fun why that comes. So I ask with intention for, we wrote down some things like a happy summer, a great summer. And so why do I wish for a great summer? And this is very interesting because the universe that has such an absolute intelligence and ability loves to put it all together to make it even more juicy than you could ever imagine. So now this is amazing because it has all abundance, and if we just get our little brains cranking in there and we put down why, and the first answer I put in most every box is for my sake. So it's for my sake. S-A-K-E, for my sake. All right, so why am I doing all this asking? I'm going to be honest, for my sake. And there's parents right here that have their children here, and it's very interesting because when our children ask, if they give us more whys and explain things, it's beautiful because it gets us engaged in the conversation, and then we say, you have a point there. And it might flip our set of views. So I'm going to give the same example I give all the time, and this will remind us that when my children ask me for my car, $20, and to go buy chocolate at 11 o'clock at night, the Carissa who's holistic would say no. Then I asked them why, and they filled in the lines. Tomorrow's Father's Day. Dad's favorite thing is chocolate chip cookies. I'm going to bake him the cookies and have them ready on the table with a card for breakfast. So all of a sudden, with those 4 little lines filled in, they got the keys, the money, and the whole thing shifted. Can we shift the universe? So Irina was honest with her car purchase. This is what she said. For fun. She didn't need the car. She wrote right there, for fun. I'm getting this new car for fun. She said so she can go on and welcome in new. So you can write, one of the whys can be for fun. So it can be for friendship. It can be for anything that is your heart, makes your heart sing. So the universe just loves that when we have an asking, and if we're going to break it down, if you can get a little bit of why. Now, my older sister has a prayer group, and she uses the asking journal with them, and they take a sticky note, a big one with lines, and they really break down their whys. Why are they praying for this? So let's say we're praying for somebody to know God. Why? Because he's benefited, or that energy's benefited me completely. So one of the whys is it's a great opportunity. It feels awesome. What a connection. It's changed my life. Whatever your whys are, they're very compelling, and they will help shift the universe and open it up, just like this cloud, and just rain on us greatness. So the why gets filled in.
Carissa.
Uh-huh.
Well, with the Viber, when you travel and you can have the laptop open, and you will be in one of the countries, and we can have a meeting.
Yes. Oh, yes, we will.
What do you think?
Skype. I know how to Skype, thanks to Sylvie.
all
and I
right.
bought a computer just to Skype.
And then you can show the background, what country you're in. Yeah.
It'll be 2 a.m. for us.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
we meet here the same time. She has to have it.
All right. Then the
my husband.
bottom right-hand corner with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are just today's little askings. So today, in your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should say the Miraclegroup meeting. So it's something that we're intentionally doing today, and I have Miraclegroup meeting in my 1 through 5. Okay. So when you have this journal, let's say I know what I'm going to do next weekend, I could put the date in for next weekend, and then I could put forward what's going to happen. A haircut. Okay, so why are we writing simple things down here? As the Miracle Group and as the consciousness group here, we're doing these things with a 10-star intention, a 10-star experience. So I love it when I can write down. Here was a great example. Yesterday, Yatsik and I talked, and my kids are leaving, and they needed some car repair done. And they were leaving this morning. And so I wrote down yesterday for the car that the kids would have the car repaired. And I called Yatsik to second my motion to also call this gentleman going to fix the car, on his way to fix the car. And so in that intention, right, the why became very compelling. They're leaving in the morning. You see that? Also, to make it a 10-star experience, I can offer the gentleman a cup of tea or two. Easier working at night doing this. I can turn the lights on. Yatsik uses a headlamp, and it was getting dark for all the things he does. So I gave him a headlamp because the lights were getting dimmer. He was saying the one thing I could use is a little more light. I said, well, Yatsik always wears his headlamp. I have one laying on the shelf. I'll give you the light, right? So do you see? I could make it a 10-star. I handed him his check in advance. He already knew what it cost. He knew that the part I owed him this. So I could pay him right there. I could hand him the light. I could give him some tea, right? I gave him bug spray because he's doing this outside and in Naples at 6 o'clock, 7. So what could I do to make that one thing a 10-star experience? And I could pray over it, that this car is going to be absolutely, completely done with this, and this by this evening so that they can leave in the morning. And you see, it became the 10-star experience because I went forth with absolute desire and knowingness. And that all came true. So these 5 things could be a sticky note that you write.
Chris, I don't understand. What is these are what I do to make these things a 10-star experience?
Yeah. So no, you write the things that you're going to make a 10-star. So the car repair would go on here.
Oh, that's going to be a 10-star.
Just car repair. Then you are going to take 1 minute to contemplate these things and say, what could I do to make it a 10-star experience?
So the difference is also like these things we are like actually going out. It's our little things we plan to do. Whereas these things we ask for, it's like it's more God's hand in it. So it's a long term,
Bigger stuff, E2 visa.
Yeah. So it can be also short term, but this is actually I am taking action. I'm going out. I'm the one doing it. So it can be my shopping. It can be whatever. But if it's like something what God maybe has to put in place in some areas,
Right.
and you want to do a little
So
more
you're
prayer
moved to
about
San
it.
Diego. If we had a piece of paper of James Stephen and then one column and God on the other column, your great move to San Diego at this moment would go in the God column. The day you're moving, you could move a little bit of it over, the exact movedness, into your column. What we tend to do is keep everything in our column.
So the long term is the God.
That's the God column.
And this is the
That you're
what I'm
just
doing
jotting
today.
down saying, God, go for it. I'm not even quite sure if my whole asking here, I have a little Y down there. Go for it. And then we're focusing to do a beautiful job on just 5 things.
And 5 things are plenty. If you do 5 things every day,
Beautifully.
enjoy it, and really pray over and fun, you come like in you see 90 days what you've done. It's amazing.
Now, when we work with the clients, so it's more than 5 usually, and other
Okay.
things included. So this means you can just write the name of the person.
You can just write the name of person. So if I have less, she's saying if she has more than 5 clients, that would take up, I would just then write client experiences for today.
Okay.
Yeah. So that would mean just like you're praying over every client, you're going to offer them all water, you're going to make sure you ask them if the temperature of the room is nice. And so I give back this example as simple as if somebody comes to my house. I had an air conditioner gentleman in my house today. All right. So the first thing I'm going to have is I'm going to have this entire list of what I'm expecting to end up with. How many units done, UV light bulbs in the units, clean the vents out, blah, 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 right? So what can I do, though, to give and make that a 10-star experience? Well, it's hot out. I could give them towels. I could give them water bottles that are cool, right? I could show them where the bathroom is. What can I do? I can smile. I can say thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. So I've shared this story. If somebody hasn't heard it, I share this very well. So Sylvia and I were in North Carolina, and we were having the plumber come over. And so I said, okay, one of my 5 things is the plumber coming over. What could I do in a beautiful way to make it a 10-star experience for this plumber to come into the house? And we simply made it a 10-star experience in my mind. Remember the visualization and the prayer before he got there. And when he got there, he left with a copy of the book, right? He got the payment for his services. He got to hear us and feel our kindness, right? And even though he had the biggest list he's ever seen at a house, right? He sent back the text message that I read a lot of you got to hear it, and it said, "Thank you for existing." I mean,
And he repaired the oven as a plumber, so he repaired everything what we had.
Even the oven, yeah.
And he came to me like, "Oh, your mom has like such a long list for me," and I was like, "You should see my list." So you're the lucky one with there's no luck, but you are the happy one with only like
Right.
a few items on it.
and so he said that between his stops, he read the book. Okay, and it really impacted him. So the idea is we're here. We are the light, guys. And this is music therapy. This is what you do. We are the light. What if we just took a few more moments to say, if we could do a little bit extra, just with a smile, a thought, a word, a note, an email, editing our words as we all are doing in our emails. So here was a great example for those who were just together over the weekend, and he got to experience this. Donna, you left already. Do you remember how many times David said, "Somebody always forgets something at my house"? Okay, now look at his words. He said, "Somebody forgets at my house." So guess what happened, everybody?
Somebody left something there.
You got it. So if he would have said, "Please remember all, and take everything from my house with you," everything would have
furniture would have
gone.
gone.
That's right, okay.
Especially
All
if
of
he
your
would have
things
been
with
like-
you.
If he would have been like Karen, yes, you know how Karen
Right.
says, right? You understand? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
get that affirmation from us. Yes, we'll do that. You know.
Okay, so the idea is his exact words were, don't leave anything. Don't leave anything. And of course, after all that, a big cooler gets left. So it's something that obviously somebody brought. It was just really fun because now we've all done this, and I did this, and so I remember and this is the lesson that we're getting today, and I'll just take it and interject it because it's perfect right here. The 5-minute lesson is everybody asks, what's the pivot point? What's the pivot point of us being conscious versus unconscious in our creation power? And the pivot point is when you can absolutely own that you've done it all to yourself. You baked these cookies, and you burned those cookies. And you can throw away the cookies you burned, but own it. Own the fact that they're all your cookies. Every situation you are going through in life, all of us, we've created. We have been the attractors, the co-creators of all of it. that day now, when you can own that and you say, as of this day I go forth in total consciousness and asking, editing my words. So remember David, he could have said, remember everything. So if he would have just written it down, he would have seen his own words and he would have become conscious and he could have created what he really wanted. So he had an intention that he wanted everything to go with the people, but his words had to be honored by the universe. So something had to stay there. So here's a real catch. So I'm just like David, because we are everybody, right? So Carissa gets home and our air conditioner unit was on the fritz. And so the air conditioner unit is on the fritz, and my husband said, should we have the other one replaced right away too?
Oh.
You saw that word replace in there, right? Guess what happened the next day? The second unit, because I didn't change the word replace. Should we have both units replaced? What I should have said is, the second unit is doing wonderful. It's going to last forever and ever and ever and ever. So if you are in there as the witness and somebody else did the declaring and you didn't change it, guess what was declared?
And the really funny thing is, when I was in Germany and thinking about, okay, I'm spending 1 year in the house, I hope nothing breaks down, and I hope the AC stays like this, and maybe if it goes down, they have to be in the house. So I'm here like for 4 days. They changed right now that I have the next year, like the AC working
Have to
perfect.
worry.
So do you see that we're part of a group plan? She's not, I don't know what she's thinking. She's all the way in Germany. It's my air conditioner, right? And she's doing the thinking. So do you see how important it is for us to be intentional over so many areas of our life? And so I say take 5 and be a 10-star. And when you can do 5 and 5 and 5 and 5 and 5, we're then becoming this light. And we can laugh when the air conditioner unit goes out. And I could have so simply said, it's doing great and it's going to last forever.
She's getting your house redone.
I just want to talking about the words, right? After the theta healing, I think it was yesterday or before yesterday. So what happened? So I'm set up to talk to someone on the phone. First time, don't know anything about it, and we got into the spiritual part right away. So the person in the end of the whole conversation goes, I am really looking to meet someone special, somebody who loves God, and not crazy.
Oh, well, you know what
I'm
she's getting.
I'm like, whoop. And so I'm quiet, so, and then he said, you're not crazy, right? So,
You just say, I'm wise and I'm fun.
no.
and I'm beautiful.
I said, well, I forgot to mention, the night before, minister is ministry and speaking the word. I have the word, and so the word was crazy favor. He's like, I never use this word, but I want you to text me back, crazy favor. Well, I'm like, I don't like the word crazy, but I'm like, fine. So I move out of and I texted back to him. I said, crazy favor.
So you're definitely not.
Next day, I'm talking to the guy who doesn't even know, never seen me, doesn't know anything about it. His last word, you're not crazy, right? So
But you
conversation
brought it,
was
you started it because
Yeah.
you texted that word. And
I know.
Now it's coming in your field.
So, but the thing is, so I called back. I said, I need to make a correction there. I know you just finished this conversation with that, and something happened the night before, so I'm like correcting the whole thing. And I said, I'll text you the picture of the book if you want to read it. So, but then, and so I texted also to the minister. I said, we need to talk. I'm changing this word crazy favor to different words. And I come up with like 3 words.
Right.
And he said, yes. I said, okay. But the other one was angel.
Crazy.
So somebody, because of the class, I'm on the phone talking about, we're talking about the angels, guardian angels, da 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 da. So right in the conversation, the person started calling me an angel. Angel. Next day, somebody texts me, you're an angel. I'm like, okay, I see how it works. So you see, you got the angel, you got the crazy at the same time. So any words comes out of your mouth, it gets into the energy field, and that word will come up someplace. Somebody is going to use that word. So whatever the word that's why words are so important to me, to the point where I'm like, okay, like
Exactly. Buy duct tape.
yes. So and that makes sometimes difficult for some of the people who gets around them. Like I'm like, just it's okay. Well, some people, if they wanted to be around, they want to learn, so they wanted to start using different words.
Right.
And for some people, it's too much. They say, well, it's too much correction. I was like, I had to change my whole vocabulary. But you
So
see
it
how
truly
two
is
words.
changing your whole consciousness. So like you said, the people are saying, I have to change my whole vocabulary. We did, and we successfully did it. So, and it's worked very well for us, and I love it. I love being able to know that I'm conscious of what is here because it's coming out here. And anytime this slips up, I know it came from the doubt or something like that was in there for that moment. And I'll accept it, right? I'll accept the bill for the new air conditioner. And so it's a consciousness thing. So David ended up with just a little cooler pack, and I ended up with a new air conditioner. Same thing. And you ended up with somebody reminding you about that word.
The good thing was, I was like, when the guy apologized, he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use that word. I said, that's okay, I'm glad that you did. So now I know, I put the connection all together. I'm like, well,
How did that come into your field?
How this came in the energy field. And actually, somebody else used that word before, and I did not correct it like you said.
Yeah.
Periodically in the conversation, I will say, you think I'm crazy. Well, instead of just, I was like, no. Instead of just replacing it,
saying I am beautiful, like you said, I'm wonderful, I am doing great.
Well, because somebody was saying it about themselves, about themselves. But if I don't correct this means it's hanging in the energy field.
Right.
So by replacing it and get rid of it completely, that's the only way we can do it.
Just an easy example for these who are new at the table, like nowadays when you say thank you, I mean usually you would be getting you're welcome, but when you go like shopping somewhere, like you get like a really interesting thing, it's like no problem or don't worry. So they hand you this energy of problem and worry. So right there, it's like, okay, I don't want. This is like, do I want to accept that or do I want to pass it on? So like, what I really tend to do then is like, bless it, just give it back. Right away.
Bless you. God bless you.
God bless you.
Oh. And when they tell you, not worry at all, you know, and a lot of people,
and it's a standard answer nowadays. It's like when you start listening to everyone on the phone you talk to, no problem, man, no problem. So really, okay, yes, blessings.
Oh, okay. So what you're doing, you replace it right away.
Right
so
away.
You're changing the energy field. So
right there.
You finish.
Don't be the witness of the space. See, we're so
Like,
positive, but if we say nothing, we become the witness, like in the Theta Healing, of whatever it is that was just created.
Because we always second the motion. If I say yes in this moment, I second the motion.
Yeah.
If I then bring up something else, it's like it's just a protection layer we have.
Okay, so yes, go ahead.
In regards to this, the understanding about being very clear with our intention and our words that we use to describe, like being really clear. I've got a very good friend of mine. She's a songwriter for many years. When she writes a song, she doesn't just throw it out. She writes it on a page and she rewrites it. And it really brings it really close, and the substance is there. Somebody asked a famous writer, Mark Twain, who wrote Tom Sawyer and a bunch of great books. He was asked, why are you so particular about choosing the right words? And he told the person, he says, it's the difference between lightning or lightning bug.
Oh yeah,
It's the difference in the choice of using the proper word that is so powerful.
Yeah.
Lightning
Absolutely
and a
power,
lightning
like
bug.
like a
And
little
it's
light
so
firefly.
important for songs. I mean, with the lyrics we maybe like hearing when you listen to in the radio.
Right.
It's like our favorite It's like I can get no satisfaction. Really?
Yeah. And
we
so if you're
internalizing
singing
that?
that over and over, you're welcoming that field in. So really be aware of the songs that we're singing, the phrases that we're allowing around us.
And even in
And in your
church.
generation, it's
Even
amazing.
church,
Even
especially church.
Yeah, we stand there.
Not
we change
even,
like every.
especially
in
Yeah,
church.
we change the words while singing, or just have our
Well,
mouth shut.
because of this,
Especially in church.
especially, well, like things like God gives and takes away, and they singing, and then everybody goes up front and raising hands. Because one time I had to go to the pastor, I said, well, what happened? Why are we, God is not the Indian giver. Well, he didn't just give and now he's taken back. He's like, I said, this was, I think, Job, the one who lost his mind, and he's the one who, you know,
Wrote this song.
things happened to him. And this is his words. He's like, yeah, why are we singing then?
Yeah.
And so the choir is singing, and you standing there and say amen to that, right? And then everybody starts experiencing,
Right there,
become part of
change
that
the words.
energy.
Right. So be enough independent that you can stand your own. Stand your own. Okay, so then the final little box here, you'll see a bunch on the bottom here that's just a reminder for us to meditate. 15 minutes of meditation a day. What does that mean? Get into your inner self. The theta healing is a meditative state. You're just breathing, just standing like we did and asking ourselves gentle questions. So meditate.
And over the summer,
connect.
we go over all these little things as a reminder, again and again and again, that it gets internally. And who those
Right.
who haven't
Read
heard
your
it yet,
Bible, connect to God. I meditated, I edited my words. That's the practice of just what we're sitting here doing, the crazy thing. The way she edited it, she went back and said, how did that come into my field? Me with the air conditioner. How did that happen? Oh boy, could I tell you how that happened? It was because I was tired. We came home from the seminar and I wasn't paying attention, and he used those words, and I just said, you know how you kind of walk in the door, instead of saying what I really declared. So what I really mean is, and then restate. What I really mean is, and then state your declaration. Okay, and then this box is for your initial and anybody sitting next to you to
so
initial.
give it around, and everyone initiates everyone's.
Yes.
Did you
So-
do this one? What's that? My gaze?
Yes, I'll do that one. So this has 2 signatures in it, 2 energies, 2 batteries to turn the flashlight on. The flashlight only turns on with 2 batteries. So anybody can initial it, can high five you. The idea is we're getting a practice of getting a second energy. For our sake, remember the air conditioner unit, right? It wasn't for my sake. I left it and it became opposite my sake. So when I first write down the goodness is for my sake, the universe starts saying, wait, I'm going to really start listening to Carisa's heart. So even if something is happening around her, I'm going to say, does this line up with what Carisa usually says? Or what Lynn usually says, or what Lisa usually says? So for my sake, I want it to become personal. I want all this in the universe to say, please make
She's
sure
collecting
my
the whole
phone
thing.
has face activation.
Gotta be strong.
It knows it's me. The universe knows us if we say, please check that it's mine before you deliver it.
Chris, you do this in the morning?
I try to do it the evening before and all through, but in the morning for sure we start filling in. Okay, the final box, everybody, my gains. So my gains are great miracles that have happened, even if it's just one that you can remember for the day that was miraculous. Nina being here at WholeFoods is miraculous so that we could see her. So these are little miracles that have come as a total blessing. So
This is today's miracle?
yeah, today's miracle, or any miracle that you want. Philip, our conversation was a little miracle that you got here. The timing of our conversation. The timing of it, so that I could tell you, this is where I'm headed. Are you by chance heading there?
It was this, I was listening to a podcast, and all of a sudden it was like this lightning bolt that I'm like, oh my god, I called
Right.
I
So
shut
that,
it off like right there.
yeah. So
And I know
he's
we
here.
had to call him like forever, and the day just went by and by and by, and then he called.
Are you gonna call me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You were on our list to take care of. So the idea is, you see, when that energy starts moving, it moves, and then we could end up with this as a little miracle that he could be here and experience a group in a new town that is like-minded. So that's it's fun, and those are the games. Those are why, if you're a golfer, you keep score of how many putts it takes you. Why? So you get better next time, and the 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 next time. So I keep score of all my games, so that at the end of the year, when I look at the literally thousands of things I created, I say I can do 1001, I can do 1002, I can do 1003. It's so simple. I've already done all these.
And I always think about it like when you have like a harder time starting this, it's like if you ask for one thing and the chance is 50-50 if God wants you to have it or not. If you ask one thing to have it or not, I mean it's 50%. If you ask for 1,000 things, if only a 50% comes true, hey, it's
No.
500 already.
Wait a minute. I like 100
Yeah.
of 100.
Then go
Yeah.
for the 100. I'm just
100
saying for
out
the
of 100.
starters to activate the muscle.
Yeah, so for Natalia here,
100 out of 100.
Oh yeah.
the idea is
You
you
are in
get
the
better,
advanced class.
like when you started golfing, right? Are you better than the day you started? Yes, right? So how did you get better? You practiced, you used your muscles, you went and stroked the club a few times. You went on 100 golf courses, and then you get better. So the only way we can get better is to do it. That's why I'm offering the 30 days of asking, and so that's the game.
And it's an exercise. You keep on moving, keep on moving. It's like when you start again in a year, you kind of have to start from the beginning. So you build momentum. You know, like you're expecting everything to return.
Okay, and then we're gonna do this now. Everybody pull this sheet out. And this is everybody pick in their mind one big asking.
One big ask.
One big asking.
Like for James Stephen, it might be your move to San Diego.
Like the right house or condo or whatever it is that you would like. One big
I
one.
declare that.
Yep,
That
I
the
declare.
asking.
And then it starts at the top, I declare. And you're going to state it in the present tense that I now have or that I now am. So it's very important that you're stating it in the tense that it's already here in front of you. That I am now the owner of this. That my stock price now is at this price. That that I now have the Quantec running, that I now have in my possession, or I now am the mother of these new kittens. Okay, so you're stating whatever it is in present tense as if it's already happened. Now we start with the next part is the parameters. So what are the parameters? And in our books, right, the back pages have these pages so that we can fill them in. And that's our parameters of our asking. So this is, if you're going to order, the example is a shirt, how many pockets, how many sleeves, what color, okay? So this is where even as wild as she did, paid off in a year for this big asking for thousands of dollars. All right, so everybody pick one big asking. If you're a realtor, you might want to have a property that you really want sold. And it could be an asking for this one property. The people love it. It's going to be July 31st.
No, it's going
for
to be this week.
Okay, so write down this week. Okay, and make sure when you write this week that you got a date and a year on your paper. Because I asked for my husband to happen on my husband's birthday. A year later, it happened on his birthday. Write the year.
What was it that happened?
I asked for a company of his to be sold on his birthday, and I didn't write the year down, and it did happen, but it happened this year instead of last year on his birthday. Okay, so please be very specific if you can. That's why we have parameters. You can fill in as many parameters as you want. I just gave you 8 spots so you can start really getting specific with your asking. Yeah, we're done. We're going to just go around and share some miracles. Oh, you're going to quickly share the content. Why don't you go ahead and just tell them what you got here.
Okay, why are you writing? So this wonderful machine or this device on the table It's a software invented by a German gentleman sitting in his ivory tower in the south of Germany. And I call it a prayer machine or asking device, but it's like the real name is Quantec. And what he did over the last 20, 30 years, he was like, okay, do I want to hold the high level, and do I want to like focus on it, and do I want to do it all for myself, or isn't it easier to just use a machine to do it for me?
So just
Because
like our
like-
theta healing, getting up in that vortex. So he wrote
And
a
then the
program
thing
for
is,
it.
it's about responsibility. So am I really able to hold my 100% at all times? Or do I give it up? So it's easier in our belief system to say, okay, if there's something praying for me 24/7, and even like it's so advanced after 20 years of this research that this machine has an automatic program. And even I put in like a time frame of when this shall be prayed over. For example, you have an exam, and this exam is for 4 hours. These whole 4 hours, like when I had my visa interview at the embassy, and I know it's going to be a tough one, I put like in this time, I had it running at home exactly during this time of my interview, and I put it even a little bit farther out because I didn't know like when exactly will my call be. So I had it praying for me that this person will be lovely, I can easily answer the questions, and she will understand all of it, even if like some things I put in there were totally funny. And it's just a God thing that I'm here. So this was constantly doing it. And if I want to have like something like the stock price, so we put in that that the company is sold, and we have it running for 3 months. And now I'm looking over my list and was like, oh, this is done, this is done, this is done. So this is like just holding our frequency and sending it out. So automatically,
Keeping an open channel.
so even if it's not busy, so if I'm putting something in, the machine is busy, but if it's not busy during the day, it looks through all the people, through all the programs, through all the prayers. Is there someone who has to have a prayer right now? And it runs automatically this prayer, and it does it with a white noise and with a frequency enhancer over the crystals. So what I put in here, you can see like the next asking is like a list of all the people I pray over. I don't want to sit in the evening and go over my prayer list, whom I pray over. I put it in here. So I have like 100 names, 100 plus names. So every one of you is in there. And I make sure I add all of the ones who just joined. And I know the next sending goes out okay, this is on German time, like in, we have at 2:30, so in 12 minutes, there will be another sending out.
What do you actually see that, or is that all invisible? The
No, it's
sending out?
you can see it.
What do you
I
mean
mean,
by
this is
sending
in the software, but it's
Okay,
going out
This is
over
a teleporter. Okay, yes. So that's a gold plate here. We can import wave or we can export wave. You could put your hand on there and it could do a reading of your energetic field. We're doing the opposite. We're actually using it to teleport and push space. So you've heard of if you put a rose quartz crystal around the corners of your house outside, that if any time a hurricane or anything would come, it creates a certain different wave to protect your home. This is the same way. It's just doing it in a very dense form. We're condensed here and putting the energy of the crystal because we just want one path up. And we're doing this in theta healing when we're holding the space and we go up, straight up, and we go through the dimensions of prayer. And you were talking about dimensions. The dimensions, so when we're going up to the 7th dimension, directly straight up, we have to kind of keep our eyes closed. We got to hold that space. You get a little sweaty maybe. And so after you do it come up and down 3 or 4 times, we did it 8 hours a day for 3 days. I mean, how many hours can you hold the space? You have to go to the bathroom, shower. So for the times that you got other things to do, this will hold the space. So he's figured out how to do the exact thing to mimic prayer and then just keep teleporting any prayer. So we laugh about, and since you know my daughter Ashley, I'll share this real fun story. When Sylvie and I first got the machine, the software was in German because you have to be a German national to have the machine. It's not legal here in the United States. So I got the machine from Germany from another German.
Healing is not allowed.
And I said, Sylvie, type in all these things. And I said, let's type in the wildest, weirdest stuff we could think of. See how quickly it can happen. And so she said, okay, type in I said, type in my children will have, they wanted to do a dog walking business. They'll have a dog walking business and they'll be self-sufficient and earn all their own money. And so she typed it in and we were upstairs and we walked in Ashley's bedroom and we walked downstairs and we came out and they all had dogs. And that started their business. And the first year they made $700 and Ashley was 6. And the second year they made $1,200. She was 7. And this was all in a minute. It happened from us walking from her typing from upstairs, and she was there, so we were with a client, and by the time we got downstairs to walk him out to his car, the business had begun. So we did this with many other things.
Yeah,
We also
2 years
did
ago,
it.
I was just visiting for one day, and she was like, okay, I haven't used the machine in 8
Turn it
years.
on, Sylvie,
Because
let's-
I was not here for 8 years. I traveled the world. I was on cruise ship and yachts and stuff. So I came back, we turned on the machine, and her husband walks by and says, Carissa, I need to talk to you. I need $10 million by Friday. It was a Monday
For
night.
a company, yeah.
For the company. I need $10 million. And she was thinking, okay, let's type it in. I mean, you
Yeah, we were just sitting at the machine. Well, we were saying, anybody, give us what you're asking.
So,
'cause
but
we were
then
just doing
she's
experiments.
like, wait a minute. This company, I'm so involved in this company. If he gets 10 million, my shares get polluted. No way. And I want to
if we have to sell 10 million to other people,
do I take it for my
will
private
hit
equity?
my-
Heck
yeah.
no, it needs to come from something else.
Right. So I quickly filled in these parameters, and these were my parameters. The first parameter is that I stay whole in my stock position, so that it's not diluting me to give somebody else shares. The second thing I said is that it was light and easy, and it would come from some miraculous place, versus me writing down. My husband would, call his buddies and have to spend days and days doing it. So I wanted to be light and easy. I wanted to come from something that was miraculous. It had to keep my share price whole, and it had to be by Friday. Okay, so again, which Friday? Put the date down. Yes, so it was Monday.
Well, you
I
called
know, 'cause
me.
you were only in town
yeah,
for one day.
it was Monday.
I only saw her one day.
And it was like she called me. I called her for her birthday later on, and
She stopped by.
And she's
Remember,
like,
the machine's in German. So the whole fun of taking it out was Sylvie's German who stopped by.
and I haven't
so-
played with it. I mean, I was not there.
I
so-
have Russian equipment, I have French
and the
equipment, so whoever comes by, I want you
The really funny thing about the story of this typing in was I didn't have the password anymore to open the old computer. So I was writing an email to the guy who sold us the machine.
This machine, yeah.
And he called us on the phone. I was like, oh, thank you that you read my email right away to give me the password. And he was like, what email?
Oh, wow.
And I hadn't talked to him in a year.
He never got the email. He just
So
got
the same time we're saying we need to get in this computer, he called.
He
called from Germany, and he said, hey, how are you doing? And we're like, oh, we're so glad you called because we're trying to get into this computer. What's the password? So, and because it was used equipment. This is used equipment. Again, like I said, I had to get it through somebody instead of...
So like Carissa wanted to have
Yeah.
Bill tonight here, so he is here. Or like we went to a seminar and we wanted to go to church
Right.
with the guy we met like the other day at lunch. We didn't exchange any numbers. We just said, oh, let us go on Sunday to church. And he was not at the seminar. I was looking all over through like 2,400 people. I didn't see him. I said like, we are leaving at 9:30 and we'd like him to be there. So we get up at 9:30, we walk towards the door opens and it's him. And
He
it's
opened
like,
the door for us, yeah.
Yeah.
So we go to church
from the other
together, yeah.
side. I was like, okay, we're going to
From
church.
outside, we were
and he's like,
inside,
oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
So things
So-
like that.
So when you get really, really intentional, remember this is kind of like my column and God's column. This is kind of the stuff in God's column. So we put it over here, that other little box that we had that was kind of our long-term asking, or our I ask with intention for. Those long-term things like her E2 visa, that's what we put, and we can let that go. You also can just put it over in the God column and let it, you could fade a heel, and do that going up.
So when we
into that
started the
dimension.
meeting, I opened the computer and it was my askings when I saw it. So it's like going through everything. And the first thing I read was like E2 visa happily granted in my passport. I'm back in Naples, Florida. I was like, okay, I can go back into and take it out now.
Uh-huh.
So
So,
it's up and running now?
yes, it's all up and running. So she will be here all summer. You can put your askings in with her. I think
So see me
$40. What are you doing? We also got the Footbaths from China. They're here. So Skydra, if you want to switch yours out, we got new ones. So we have the foot spas. We wanted to let everybody know
And we
that
can
they're
talk
back.
about more of the devices during the summer.
Yes, yes.
That
It's
is a
so
foot
wonderful. Right.
Exchange it. Yeah, we exchange it.
Yeah, just switch
And
them
you
out.
bring me the other one.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
So that's the ionic foot spa. I think you guys have all seen that. Where you put your feet in the water and it takes the toxins. What it does.
So it like takes you reading your
again,
pH.
what's interesting is on a scientific level, it's not removing anything. It's sending an impulse into your being to start draining itself. And it's showing you, because we're water, what the heck is going to start coming out of you in your sweat, in your spit, and all that. So that's why the water color, if it's orange or it's brown or it's green or it's blue, matters, because you're the one in there. And I'm here to tell you I can use the same electrode and have 10 buckets of water, I've done it, and had 10 people do the foot bath, and everybody's water with the same electrode that goes in the water is completely different. The junk that comes and shows up in manifested form, in physical form, is completely different for every person. It's an ionic foot spa. They're the foot baths, and so people have been begging and begging, please order somewhere from China. So Sylvie did it, so it's here for us. All right, so now you all know the final down thank you God is your gratitude message. Whatever gratitude you want to have is at the bottom of the page. And the why is filled in. Remember the chocolate. Why Father's Day? Why Dad, this is his favorite thing? Why? To surprise him. Why? So why did I get the jacket for my sister that's purple with a hood and waterproof? Because she was at Disney World and rain happens in Florida. That's a why. So why a hood? Keep her dry. Why? Why pockets to put things in? Why do we ask for a size? Why a woman's jacket? Because I'm gifting it to a woman. Why? So the why becomes very important. And if we understand that just taking a moment to write this sheet out, and I've done a miracle 4-pack of asking, and I started that asking 1.5 years ago. And the 5th thing was that my husband would take my class. Well, that bonus because he came to Costa Rica, so that happened. And basically, there's only half of one left. The first one started with the company sold of his. The second was the $10 million loan that she was talking about came true. And the third one was he retired. And for anybody who knows my husband, that is an asking beyond the beyond, the beyond, the beyond, the beyond, the beyond. He's planning our trip around the world. He had time to do it in the middle of the day. He went to the dentist today, worked out, okay, in the middle of the day. So if anybody who knows my husband, this is huge. A shift, you talk about a 365 turn.
He helps out with carrying stuff inside.
Yeah, he asked if we could carry the 180, but it's I'm turning around in circles saying, wow, this is amazing. But 180 shift in his, so that would be the biggest asking. And then the fourth one, and I'm really, really down on my knees in this one, is we've been in this company that we purchased 14 years ago, and I said, dear God, when the stock price hits $13.17, I'm out. All those years, all that, and what I mean is it's victory lap. The stock is at $13.15 today. It started at 14 cents when we started the company.
And
So
last
I'm just
year
saying,
it was at
I
$7.
wrote the exact dollar amount and penny amount because I said to my husband and I said to his CFOs of his company over there that when that hits that one, all of you could go like this. Because the stock is $8 a year ago. And it only got up, it was around $5 for 13 years. And all of a sudden right here, in this final 1.5 years, and so we're 1 day away from that happening, and there's one little icing straw on that cake, and that the company would be bought, and it's a public company, by another company. And I even wrote down which company will buy it. So when that even happens, we'll show that this was we all do a big asking every year. This was my 1.5 years ago. My big asking this past summer for this year, which just came true, was that I want to heal people instantly just with our mind. And we're here, Theta Healing Witnesses, because they were part of the class, and we were able to take it together. And so Theta Healing. And God is so faithful with that word and the book cover. I brought the book cover, Theta Healing, because anybody who met Andreas Goldman, who came here before, the German gentleman who stayed 5 years with us, I kept saying, how do you heal people instantly? Because he kept doing it in front of me. And he said, my brain is constantly in theta state. And I kind of registered it, but I didn't have that neural pathway developed to receive it. And so God sent me back with Helen, who's part of our group, and she said, Carissa, you've got to go do this cool thing I'm doing, and it's theta healing. And there's that word, theta. So God even retitled the class. The original title to the class was different than theta healing. But for Carissa to really get it, he retitled the class Theta Healing, so I really get it. So it's just so beautiful, and that was my asking from last summer.
And then I saw you in the class, and I was saying, I've been thinking of you strongly the last 2 weeks, that you really have to take this theta class.
That's right. And we hadn't seen each other since last summer in June.
Right.
And so we got to the class, and you were there, and I was there, yeah. So what was real fun is this beautiful connection that we all have, that we can use this mastermind in this collective conscious for every asking, for any asking, for all asking. And I just say that when you ask for the consciousness, it'll come. So we are here, and what makes us so awesome is that we are conscious creators with the power of the word. So it's one thing to be creators or co-creators, to be consciously creating with the greatest power, which is the word itself. It's a miracle that we've done it, and the ones who've stayed for the 4.5 years that we've had this group, I thank you, because it is so exciting. And the ones that are coming up now, Rachel's been a couple years with us, and Tess, this is 6 months or so, yeah, the 4 months. Lisa's been on and off here with us, and isn't it fun? And it really, we're changing human consciousness right here, because all of you have gone out there. Who has this training? I'll ask us all again. Who has this training? We do. And it's obviously gifted to us. So now what are we going to do with it? That's the joy.
So 2 more things, like if you have like your big asking all written out, give it around, have it second already. Put
Yeah,
it right
have
on the
somebody
page.
sign your page next to you or initial your page. Anywhere on the page is good. So that you got
And
a
then
second energy.
one little thing about this page also, you see I asked with intention for, and in the bottom we wrote and more. So of course we always ask for more. Whatever God wants to give us, bring it on. And for the highest and best, so and more.
Okay, just please.